The story of Masekhaya is one that starts quite a number of years ago, and it's one that, in honesty, comes all the way from my childhood. But before we go into that story, let me tell you firstly what the name Masekhaya means for me. My name's Johann Strauss. I come from Cape Town, South Africa. And here in South Africa, there's a wonderful, wonderful language, Kaapse Afrikaans. So Mase means mothers. It belongs to the mother. Khaya in isiXhosa means home. To me, those are two cultures, the Cape Coloured culture and the Xhosa culture, and Afrikaans, which formed a big part of who I am. So I loved the idea of making up my own word, Mase, like Masekind, awe Masekind, which is a typical greeting here in Cape Town. So Mase, the mother's home, Masekhaya. Growing up in Blackheath, I grew up with not perhaps the privileges which my kids enjoy now, but I grew up with two amazing parents who supported my brother and I, who gave us confidence and the feeling that we could achieve anything. And I remember when there was an outreach program where they came to my primary school in Blackheath and they taught us the beautiful performative art ballet. Through ballet, I was able to gain confidence to walk into spaces and feel that I belonged, even though at that point in time, it wasn't always easy for a young girl of color. I had a chance to dance on my first stage at, which was then called the Nico Milan, it's now called the Artscape Theatre. But to dance on a stage with children who had come from different backgrounds, different races, and I realized then how art can absolutely level the playing fields and also make people understand that art should be accessible for all. I've been on a journey of discovering myself, so yes, self-discovery, but also learning about where I fit in the world through contemporary African art. And I'm actually sitting here in the Members Lounge at the Zeitz MOCAA, the Museum of Contemporary African Art. And I've been very, very fortunate to have learned a lot from the late Koyo Kwo, who really made me see that institutions and community is how we build and expand the world of art. And I'm so grateful that I now have the opportunity to launch my own foundation, Masekhaya, a foundation where I aim to make art more accessible, to enable people to have conversations, to enable people to be. I think we're all consumed by consumption and the idea of to-do lists and I've got to do this, I've got to get to this appointment and go, go, go. But how often do we take time to stop, to pause and to reflect and to have real conversations, to make sure that we have conversations not just with people who think like us, but also people who have a completely different perspective on life. So thank you for listening to my video. I hope that you'll come on this journey with me as Masekhaya makes its own imprint on the art world. Today we're here to embark on this crazy idea that I've had. And I think as I think about it more, I realize perhaps it's not so crazy. I'm a product of a country, South Africa. My dad, we grew up in Blackheath, which is a very different neighborhood to where I live now. And I grew up there during apartheid days. I actually had a dance class this week with my old ballet teacher. And when I say old, I mean it literally and figuratively, because my ballet teacher, Philip Boyd, and his amazing wife, who has passed on, Phyllis Spiro, she was the first primo ballerina assoluta. They came and they did an outreach project in Blackheath. And for me, as a 6 or 7-year-old, I had a chance to stand on stage as my mom. Sadly, my mom's not with us today physically, but my mom is always with me. For those of you who know me, my mom has dementia, but she's a beautiful crazy. My mom is the most amazing woman who I always credit as the first artist that I got to know, because my mom would literally draw on pillowcases and sell that. So she was actually an artist who made money. So she would draw on pillowcases and sell it in the communities. And my mom taught me so much. My mom taught me to belong.
My parents taught me to belong, my brother and I. And my brother passed away a few years back, but I carry him with me every single day, and he's standing here with me right now. But I realized then that art has got the ability to level the playing fields. I think we live in a society where we're constantly distracted and inundated with so much information. But I think at the heart of everything, we all long for human connection. So the fact that you've all taken time out to come and be here, to come and support something which I'm birthing and which sounds like a completely crazy dream to me, but you believe in me, and I appreciate that you're standing by me today. In a nutshell, Masekhaya is a foundation where I'm trying to make art more accessible to more people. I realized the privilege that I had as a young child in the 80s in South Africa to dance on these stages. I went, and Tarina now teaches me adult ballet. This is my ballet teacher over here, Tarina. But my plan is this also. I want to dance on point this year. I always say this. I was dancing at school, and then because of circumstances, I had to go to a different school. We were just coming at the end of apartheid. That's the other thing. I sort of feel sometimes like there's two lives within me, and I've got that privilege of perspective because I know the different sides that exist in South Africa. And I want to open up and allow us all to have conversations, honest conversations. But I traveled to school, and I just realized then as well that we have to have dreams. And a dream delayed is not a dream denied. So perhaps I didn't get a chance to be the ballerina then, but Tarina, I have the chance now. And how we also show up for each other in helping to make each other's dreams come true, I think that's what community is. There's a beautiful word, and I know you're going to give me absolute nonsense about this, but Ubuntu, because everybody speaks about Ubuntu, but it is so true. We are all because of others. And I am because of you. I am because of so many people in my life who have made such an impact on me. And my papi, ek gaan dit vir jou in Afrikaans sê, want dis my moedertaal. Ek is so dankbaar vir jou en vir mams en vir Heinrich vir alles wat julle vir my beteken. So, Masekhaya, the name, and I'll explain it again. Masa, my mother's. Khaya, home. But for me, the name is a beautiful mix as well, because that's what we are here in South Africa. I've got friends from all over. My trustees, thank you for coming on this journey with me. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we all have our different stories. Masekhaya, for me, is a foundation that aims to be home for people. I know what it feels like to feel like you don't belong. And I want more people to feel that they belong in the world of art. I always thought that art was something that hung on rich people's walls, and that was what art was. Art was there to beautify. Art is there sometimes to beautify, but art is also there for us to spark conversations. Art is there for us to level the playing fields and to think, what do you say? What do I say? It doesn't, if we only hang out with people who think like us, what a dull world we'll inhabit. For me, the big thing is, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm grateful for you being here. I hate having my birthday. I always say it feels like attention, and I'm actually, you who know me, I am quite an introvert. But I will pretend to be an extrovert for the right causes. And I think that is what Masekhaya to me is. It's a place for us to feel belonging. It's a place for me where when I had the ballet lesson with my old teacher, which we're filming for my podcast, just a little heads up as well, and a great advertising opportunity. Next week, I've got my podcast actually having a booth at Cape Town Art Fair. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I get a chance to share the stories. And that to me, again, is at the essence of who we are in this country. We need to share stories, because if we learn to know each other, we cannot have the antagonism that sometimes exists. We need to know other people's stories too. The danger of a single story. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, one of my favorite writers, Nigerian writers. The danger of a single story. Let's share our stories. So through Audacity, I'll have my podcast. I'll be filming. I was very fortunate last week on my birthday. I was in Doha for Art Basel. For me, the more we can share the stories of Africans. And so people don't think anymore, oh, Africa is a charity project. Nothing about Africa is about charity. We are where it all started. And the more we can go out there and share our stories, and the more we can go out there and create spaces for our children to feel that they belong. So all the children here, my children, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting your mom also with her craziness. Thank you for supporting me with my crazy ideas. But the reason why I do this also is because I want children to know that they are not lastig, that they don't need to be parked somewhere, that children are the reason we want people to get off their screens, to have more real conversations, to connect as human beings, to listen to each other's opinions, and to build our own versions of our mom's houses, literally and figuratively. So that's what Masekhaya is, a place for belonging. And I am so grateful dat julle almal na my Masekhaya gekom het. So thank you. Thank you to Zeitz. And I want to take this moment to also just say, I'm standing here, there's the picture of Koyo. And for anyone who had the opportunity to know Koyo, you'll know she was power. She is power. And I remember the first time that I met her and I thought, oh, how do I fit into this art world? And she gradually brought me in and we found connection. And I'm so grateful to the Zeitz team that I can launch Masekhaya here. This is the Members Lounge of the Zeitz Museum of Contemporary African Art, a place for us all to tell our stories from the continent. So I'm grateful for every single person in the art world as well who has opened up the doors, and I will continue to open up as many doors as possible so that more can follow. So thank you, enjoy, and thank you.